Good morning, brothers and sisters. Saturday the Sabbath, February the 18th, 2017. Well, here is the headline. I'll provide the links below. California City erects prison camp. Do you hear me? Prison camp to deal with homeless. It begins with the roundup of the homeless, putting them in internment camps. And here in this California city, they actually erected a prison camp to deal with homeless. There are two major problems that come to mind, explains Max Slabo. First, the level of homelessness, poverty, and idle populations in California and across the country. And second, the divided world between the 1% and the struggling 99% is coming to a head. Economically, things are very close to the brink, and there are far too many people who've given up at the individual level. This crisis has given the impetus for cities like Santa Ana to take drastic action. The other side of the coin is that if they can do this to homeless vagrants and out-of-work families, they can do it to anyone. If civil unrest comes, perhaps in combination with mass unemployment, a crashed stock market, and monetary system and great misery, those keeping society in check will feel compelled to come down with a heavy hand. People will be rounded up, some of them unfairly. That's what they're going to do. They're going to round up, go after the least of these, the poor, the homeless first, round them up, put them in internment camps, prison camps, FEMA camps, and then they're going to go after the next in line. Entire communities can be disrupted or forced under an emergency to evacuate and take shelter in FEMA centers while the cities become off limits. There are a lot of things that can happen, including to hardworking, employed, head above water American families. When this thing starts to unravel, making do in the current atmosphere won't cut it. In the aftermath of what is coming, many people will be desperate. Tent cities and migrant Americans looking for temporary work will return. Millions more will flock to government welfare programs and be dragged into the dregs of a collective measure to ride out bad times. They are moving to sweep up the disarray of a society that is crumbling in a financial landscape that is no longer survivable for a wide sector of the general population. Tent City, or the city of Santa Ana, has come up with an innovative and despotic way of keeping their homeless population in check. Imprison them. The city is now party to a federal lawsuit over unreasonable seizure, false imprisonment, and due process violations. Heading up the lawsuit on behalf of Michael Delisle, who has lived at the encampment for 3 years, is the ACLU of Southern California. The lawsuit demands the immediate removal of the 6-foot-tall chain-link fences penning in 75 to 100 people and their belongings. Defendants' actions have not only illegally restricted the liberty of the homeless people living in the encampment, but it has also cut them off from access to food, water, and medical care, thus threatening their life and well-being, the lawsuit states. Delisle was shot in the head at a Tustin convenience store in 2009. He lost his right eye, and doctors were unable to remove the bullet from his head. He takes medication every day to control seizures that have become more frequent with the increased presence of authorities at the encampment. He says in the complaint, when a woman suffered a seizure at the encampment after the fence was erected, Delisle says some paramedics had difficulty reaching her because the barriers have blocked parts of the sidewalks at Chapman Avenue and Orangewood Avenue, where people used to come and go. If people living in the encampment cut holes in the fence with bolt cutters, Orange County Public Works employees repair it. For the elderly and disabled, it is neither safe nor realistic to scale the fence or navigate the river to get to a steep, rocky embankment on the river's west side, Delisle said. Very disturbing. Naturally, the county is claiming that they are not doing anything wrong and that the fence put in place after the homeless community began growing there is for flood control. The county is aware that there are homeless encampments in the project area. Flood control channels are not a safe place to live. Sign postings in person notifications about the project have been provided to those encamped along the county maintenance road. The county said in a statement, however, according to Delisle and the others who are imprisoned in the camp, police told them that they should move there to avoid citations for sleeping in public and the other parts of town. What this case in Santa Ana illustrates is the state's continued war on the right of people to exist. Every time a group homeless community finds a safe spot, location out of the way, they are tagged for removal, or in this barbaric case, imprisonment. Earlier this month, the Free Thought Project reported on another war being waged against the homeless population in California known as the Promised Land. A group of homeless people in Oakland sought to improve their situation by creating a camp that would foster sobriety and help people to get jobs. It was located out of the way under a series of overpasses. They had running water, were growing their own food, and did not allow drug or alcohol use within the camp, as cops and officials allowed the other heroin-riddled encampments to continue. They targeted the Promised Land for destruction. Delisle now seeks an injunction ordering the county to provide him with reasonable means of leaving the riverbed and being able to retrieve his property. What is it coming to next? It begins with the homeless, the least of these, in California. Santa Ana, the city erects prison camps to deal with the homeless. And a lot of this is because the homeless are invisible to society, invisible to the churches and ministries and homeless advocates out there. You get no help. They get no help. The church turns a blind eye, but they pad the pockets and the wallets of the prosperity preachers, jet set them around the world and around the globe and from city to city and state to state and build them big homes and all the luxuries of the world. Is where the church has got to come out of the world. Jesus, the Son of God, had no place to lay his head. Is that how we treat Jesus today? Thanks for watching. Subscribe, leave me a comment.